The Seattle Mariners had a magical season in 2025. They won the AL West for the first time in 24 years, and they also made it to the ALCS. They were one game away from going to the World Series. In this video, I recap the regular season, postseason, and what the Mariners should do going forward. In terms of the hitters, Cal Raleigh had a monster season. He led the majors with 60 home runs and drove in 125 runs. Julio had another well-rounded season as he had over 30 home runs and over 30 stolen bases. Randy put up similar numbers compared to Julio, and he had 27 home runs and 31 stolen bases. Jorge Polanco had a strong season as he put up 26 home runs and had a 134 ops plus. J.P. Crawford was a solid hitter overall. Even though he did not put up great power numbers, he still had a 111 ops plus. After the 2025 trade deadline, the Mariners lineup strengthened with the acquisitions of Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez. Naylor would put up solid at-bats each game, while Suarez provided more slugging to the team. In terms of the pitching, Brian Wu was the best pitcher in the rotation. He was an all-star selection and finished 5th in Cy Young voting. Luis Castillo had another solid season. The problem was that Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, and George Kirby all spent significant time on the injury list. This meant that Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock had to fill in. They were serviceable, but not great. Miller, Gilbert, and Kirby were inconsistent throughout the season. However, they did come up clutch in September. Finally, the bullpen was initially shaky at the beginning, but it would improve a lot over the season. Andres Munoz was fantastic and got selected to the All-Star game. Gabe Speier was the only reliable lefty out of the pen. Edward Bizardo developed into a high-leverage arm. Finally, Matt Brash would come back in the second half of the season after rehabbing from Tommy John. He would pitch well and become another reliable arm out of the bullpen. The Mariners would win the AL West and earn the number 2 seed. They would take on the Detroit Tigers in the ALDS. They would lose Game 1, 3-2 in extra innings. They would then take Games 2 and 3 to take a 2-1 lead in the series. They would lose Game 4 to set up a winner-take-all Game 5 in Seattle. In Game 5, the Mariners would take a 1-0 lead. Kerry Carpenter would then hit a crucial 2-run home run to give Detroit a 2-1 lead in the 6th inning. Pinch hitter Leo Rivas would then come up with a clutch base hit to tie the game at 2 in the 7th inning. Then, after several innings of great pitching by both teams, Jorge Polanco would come up with a walk-off base hit in the 15th inning to send the Mariners to the ALCS. The Mariners would take on the Toronto Blue Jays in the ALCS. They would win the first 2 games in Toronto to take a 2-0 lead. Toronto would come back to tie the series at 2 after the Mariners' starting pitching fell apart. In Game 5, the Mariners would find themselves down 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cal Raleigh would lead off the inning with a shoulder sharp to tie the game at 2. Then the next 3 batters for the Mariners would reach, setting up a bases-loaded situation for Eugenio Suarez. Suarez would come up with a grand slam to give the Mariners a 6-2 lead. The Mariners would win by that score and take a 3-2 series lead to Toronto. The Mariners would lose Game 6, setting up a winner-take-all Game 7. The Mariners would have a 3-1 lead heading into the 7th inning. Then George Springer would hit the game-winning 3-run home run. It was a devastating loss for the Mariners. Even though the ending was tough, it was a great run overall. I was really impressed with the postseason performances of Cal Raleigh, Andres Munoz, and Bryce Miller. We learned that these are the guys that the Mariners can trust going forward. In my opinion, the Mariners need to do the following 3 things to make it to the World Series. The first thing they need to do is to re-sign Josh Naylor. Naylor provides power and great hitting discipline that the team really needs. The next thing they need to do is to try to acquire an elite arm. I think that we learned that the Mariners' rotation is good, but it doesn't have an elite arm like a Tariq Skubal. I feel like the Mariners should at least consider an offer for him. Finally, they need to add some more hitting depth, more specifically contact hitters. In the ALCS, it was clear that the Mariners' 7-9 hitters were outmatched and outperformed by the Blue Jays. They need to prioritize contact hitters at the end of the lineup to balance their power hitting at the top. If the Mariners front office can do some of these things, they can be World Series contenders in 2026.